We're chopping it up here with our guy, of course, Ty Hayes from Roundtable Sports. Man, I appreciate you pulling up as usual. Let's talk about this matchup. This Bama defense has a lot of ups and downs this year. I mean, this ain't Nick Saban's defense. But fortunately for you all, you get to play against our offense. The offense that is not really sure what it is yet, switching offensive coordinators. And you have history with Seth Littrell. You're a UNT graduate. And we've talked about this off and online numerous times about how you were like, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And we synced how it went. But if anything, Ty, like I said, your defense has been up and down. It's not been awful. It's not been amazing. It's just been it's been consistent enough, except for in games that you guys needed to win, like the Tennessee game. That was just you held them to 24, but I figured it would have been, of course, lower than that. And in the Vanderbilt game, where they just found a way to keep the ball for 42 minutes. Are there really any holes in your defense you see that could potentially be exploited by the Oklahoma offense if the offense shows that it's actually competent?
Yeah, I mean, there's holes in every defense that can be exploited,
Fair.
right? There's not a do-it-all defense out there. The Tennessee game I'd put solely on the offense just because they couldn't get a drive going. And, kind of like Oklahoma has experienced, your defense is just out there. And they did everything they could. Vandy is just one of those teams this year where if you know that offense is built to far outperform the players that it utilizes. For instance, if we look at the Mountain West, there's a team out there that runs an analogous offense. It's one of the military academies, right?
Yeah.
Well, they've ranked third in the past decade in terms of games won, but they've been dead last in recruiting classes. So that just exemplifies like how much they can outproduce relative to everybody else just through scheme. Now, Bama should have never lost that game, but you talked about how Bama's defense has been up and down. I agree with you to a point.
Yeah.
Now it looks like they're trending up.
Yes.
This has been a total scheme change for Alabama. Going from Saban's defense to Womack's defense, it's been a total scheme change. If we look right now, Bama is 10th in the nation in scoring defense. They're 14th in the nation in team efficiency against the pass. And that's with the secondary that includes a bunch of first-year players. And not only that, Bama is taking the ball away at one of the highest rates in the nation. I believe they're top 5 in takeaways right now.
Yes.
They're on a 3 or 4 game stretch with 3 takeaways per game. So they are really forcing the turnover. If I'm Oklahoma, there's one area I think I'm really comfortable attacking. Because when I look at the matchups for wide receiver DBs, like, of course, you could attack Zabian Brown, true freshman kid, and you might have some success early. But the problem with attacking Zabian Brown, what other teams have figured out is you might do something good early, but the kid adjusts real quick.
He's smart. He's very smart when it comes to that. Yes.
Super high football IQ, right? If you listen to the post game against Georgia, he got the game winning interception. And when they asked him why, he's like, oh, well, because they'd been throwing kind of underneath all game. And I was covering over top of the wide receiver and they were beating me, not over top, but because Beck was throwing underneath. So he's like, this time I faked over top, then went underneath and got the game winning interception because I figured out his tendency. This is a true freshman who is sitting there being like, yeah, I figured out Carson Beck and the Georgia offense's tendencies, and now we just get to ride on off into the sunset. The other side is Damani Jackson. And, like, you guys have some speed at wide receiver. Damani's a track star. 10.25 guy, 6'1", has been one of the best corners in the nation this year in his first full year of starting. Shout out Mo Linguist. What you have done with this secondary is art, truly. Where I would attack if I'm OU isn't forcing the ball downfield. Because between Bray Hubbard, Malachi Moore, Zabian Brown, Jalen Mbakwe, Zay Mincy, Day Jones, Devontae Smith, Damani Jackson, that secondary's been real good here recently. Bama's rush defense isn't bad, but I feel like that's the area you can have the most success, especially if y'all lean on a guy that you haven't leaned on a lot this year. And that's the young guy, Xavier Robinson.
Yeah, The reason I say that, I like Tatum. I like Tatum a lot.
but he's had a little bit of fumbling issues, no?
Yeah, he had a couple of fumbles this season, and they've come in very inopportune situations. This is very true.
And the reason I bring that is because Bama, at a certain point, one dot can be meaningless, but a bunch of dots creates a line. And right now, we have a straight-up line of Bama intercepting the ball and ripping the ball from running backs. Like, they are hungry. I don't want my true freshman running back who's had some problems fumbling the ball, trying to get wrapped up by Deontay Lawson, and then Jahad Campbell comes up next to him and is ripping that ball out.
Yep.
I like the big guy, right? Because I feel like if you really want to beat Bama, even though you don't run the same offense as Vandy, there is something you have. Time of possession. Utilize that big running back and just try and bang the ball down with him. That's where I think Oklahoma can have success. Then they get Alabama to creep up, and then they can attack downfield. But Jay, final thought on this, because there is one thing. You know, I talked to Chris Griffin of the Horns Down podcast yesterday. That video's out on his channel.
Yeah.
He was saying, I want OU to throw the ball down the field. And I don't disagree. You have to keep a defense honest. But why I would worry about that if I was an Oklahoma fan is because I don't think Oklahoma has played a defense. Not to say that Bama's the best defense Oklahoma would have played. I think Texas has that mantle. Close your ears, OU fans. But that Texas
Between
defense...
Texas and Tennessee is probably your question, yes.
I think that Texas defense is better than even Tennessee's, right? I think Tennessee has a great defense, but I don't think you've played a defense that switches up pre-snap and post-snap coverages like Bama does.
Yeah.
Go and watch LSU, go and watch Georgia. There'll be 7 guys at the line of scrimmage, and you're thinking all-out blitz, and next thing you know, it's a cover 4.
Yep.
And you have experienced quarterbacks throwing interceptions at this Bama defense because they have no idea what's happening. Bama has been superb at disguising coverages. But then what's scarier is, Jay, the next play, what do you think they do? They walk 7 back up to the line, and maybe this time it's a cover 3. The next play, they walk 7 back up to the line. Well, this time all 7 are coming. They show you something similar and then do 10 or 12 different things out of that. And for a young quarterback and quarterbacks for both of these guys that have been a little bit interception prone, that's where I told Chris, like, hey, I hear you. But I think that could get you in trouble because this Bama secondary is stingy. And the Bama front does a great job at mixing things up. So I think the rush is actually Oklahoma's key to opening everything up and getting Bama on its heels.
PrizePicks is the most fun I've had playing daily fantasy sports this past season. And they make it super easy to play. All you got to do is pick 2 to 3 players or more. Select if they're going to make more or less on their stats, and boom, you are in the game. 60 seconds or less. And they're going to hook you up. You can sign up with our promo code you see on the screen, Unfair. Use that promo code, and they'll give you $50 bonus after your first $5 lineup. For example, here, I'm looking at Thursday Night Football. Russell Wilson, more or less, with 182.5 yards. You've got Jameis Winston here with... 216 and a half passing yards. You can pick more or less on that. I'm looking at that one. I'm also looking at, George Pickens, 57 and a half receiving yards. We'll go more on that, even though we think Russell Wilson will go less than 182 and a half. And you can jump into the game as well. They got all kinds of promotions and stuff, Taco Tuesday, and they got some great promos for like on Fridays. You can definitely check them out, but they're going to hook you up. So check them out. Go to prizepicks.com, use our code UNFAIR to receive $50 guaranteed once you play your first $5 lineup. Again, just use our code UNFAIR at prizepicks.com. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Yeah, with Bama having 24 turnovers gained with 14 picks, 10 fumbles, and then only giving up 13 turnovers. Nice. They're 4th in margin. So, yeah, that's kind of one of those you want to be a little bit weary of giving them more of, especially with the way the numbers line up. You don't want to be that team that gives them literally give them the ball a lot. And we do have that problem on offense. But I guess the thing for us, and my thought is similar to yours, give it to Xavier Robinson, run it down their throat, and make them stop you. Play bully ball. It's probably the best thing we're going to be able to do. We'll probably play some of the younger offensive linemen now as injuries have continued. We'll have that CVS receipt. We are recording this before the CVS receipt comes out, but it's about to be continuously disgusting as we wrap the season up. So
I feel so bad for y'all.
Yeah,
there is
Ty,
one
you've
thing
always
I think
been
works well for y'all, though. You get Bama the week before the Iron Bowl and Kalen DeBoer's first Iron Bowl.
Yes. There is a possibility we will be overlooked because of how atrocious our offense has been. Yeah. So there may be a slight amount of unpreparedness because that Iron Bowl is critical. Auburn is reeling. They're reeling really bad. And you cannot let them make it a game, especially in Tuscaloosa. That would be the death of Kalen DeBoer. You've got to beat them like you beat Missouri. It's got to be 34-0.
And Bama wants to take Old Yeller out behind the shed with Auburn, and
because I know, you definitely don't have a like for Hugh Freeze as you've dealt with him in the past and the things he's done. But yes, your goal is to finish him. And you got to make sure the season's right. So, yeah, I agree. That is one thing I have kept in mind is that there is always a possibility that Oklahoma can get lucky in some of this game just because of the thought process behind Auburn being there. I don't anticipate that you all will be that unprepared, but I can definitely see the game being a lot closer than the spread. Right now, the spread is sitting at, 14? I could see it being close to that Tennessee score, 20-something to... I think we'll score a couple times on offense. I think that we'll have closer to an Ole Miss game than we did any of the others. We'll play it similar to that, get rid of the ball, just, hopefully play to, like you said, the tendencies of change that you constantly have, but find smaller outlets for these quarterbacks. As you mentioned, I sense we're going to play both quarterbacks. It only makes sense to make it difficult for this team by having both go out there. Get Michael Hawkins out there, get him move the pocket. That was the one thing I said that would save us, similar to what Tennessee has done for Nico Yamaleava, is they move the pocket often. They get it to where he can go and scramble to a side, the pocket shifts with him, and then he can try to look downfield, boom, 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 quickly and get rid of the ball, or he spikes it at somebody's feet. I want to see that with Hawkins and Jackson Arnold because with us, it appears that Deion Burks and Jalil Farouk are both going to try and play. Farouk is on a snap count restriction right now, but it looks like he's trying to play because he does plan on coming back next season. And so far, it sounds like Burks is going to clear protocol for concussion because we had the bye week. So we'll have him. That's a little bit of a safety net for both quarterbacks of having a veteran presence. South guy who I was talking to, I was talking to PG about this. I've noticed that Jackson Arnold feels most comfortable when Jalil Farouk is on the field. That appears to be the safety net for him. And the best part about Farouk's game is he may not be wide receiver 1, maybe not 2, but because he plays a physical style of game, he's going to find a way to make a play. The question is, will he not fumble it like he did against Arizona? But he'll find a way to make a play, and I think that that's what he'll do. He'll find the small pockets that Bama will provide and try to get there and catch set passes. So it's going to be interesting, like you said. The chess match between DeBoer and Venables and Alley is going to be fascinating to see, especially on the O&D. Hopefully we can bait Milroe into a turnover or two just to keep things fun and light. Doesn't guarantee we won't give it back, but it does guarantee that it's going to be fun and a good time. But Ty, give me your prediction for this game.
Yeah, I think... we were talking before the camera started rolling. Bama is preparing for both quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
So, we talked about the placement of this game. Hearing that makes me think that they're not overlooking Oklahoma and the fact that every game after Tennessee, Bama knows they're basically in the playoffs right now. What I mean when I say that is it's single elimination. From here until wherever your run ends. You lose a game, it's done. All right? So Bama knows... they have everything to play for right now and everything to lose. So I hope Bama comes in ready to go. If they come in ready to go, and I know you're not going to like this. I could see this being 34-10, right? Just because, what was the score with Missouri?
34-0.
For y'all, it's 30-23.
Oh, 30-23. Take away the defensive plays. Yeah, it's 30-23.
Bama's offense is exponentially better. Than is Missouri's. And, you can't do the comparative game, but Bama also held Missouri to no points, and that was Brady Cook played about half of that game for them as well.
Before he got hurt, Y'all intercepted Drew Pine 3 times. So, it was We held them to 3 points, and that was because of a turnover at the half, and in the fourth quarter, we just fell apart. Which, honestly, I sense there's a chance in this game, if the offense doesn't move the ball, we'll probably fall apart in the fourth quarter. But if we move the ball, there's a good chance that we could give the defense enough rest to where we keep it fun the entire game. But no, 34-10 is a fair number. I think the score is less. I think Bama, because if there's one thing I know that this game's going to be, and it's going to be for both of us, it's going to be a physical game. And again, like you said, Auburn is next week. And that's going to be a really physical game. Because that's a combination of physicality and hate. And when you mix those two together, things get dicey. So I think that as the game, I see Bama getting a big enough lead early, at least a 2-score lead, and you guys slow it down. Just take care of the ball, kill the clock, get out of this place healthy. You're in Norman at night on national television. Get out healthy. I'm thinking more of the 26-10 range, 26-14, similar to the Tennessee game. I think we're able to move the ball enough like we did against Ole Miss to start, just to, like I said, keep it interesting. I just don't know how this team has not shown me in the second half that I can trust them yet. So I don't see a reason to even guess it. But I do think first half it will be a fun one for us to enjoy. Ty, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me at Around the Table Sports. You can find me at Bleacher Report. You can find me on the Bama Standard. You can find me pretty much anywhere where they give me a microphone.
Ty literally jumps on the microphone all the time, and it's been great. Can't wait to get on with you Friday for our college football prediction roundtable on the Bleacher Report app. Check it out. I'll have a link in the description below. But once again, Ty, we appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.
Shout out to Prize Picks, once again, sponsoring the video. They are hooking you up. Check the link description below. $50 bonus when you make your first $5 plus lineup. That's at prizepicks.com. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports, maybe.